Welcome back to the Nightlife Podcast, Season 2, Episode 21. We are back here from HCAP Studios in Wynwood. Guys, last week we spoke about technology taking over and changing the game. Today, I promised that I would be talking about the power of offline promotion versus online promotion. We're going to talk a little bit about paid advertising, how it works, how you can do it, and the power of the online promotion. So first, let me remind you to go to Amazon, get the book, The Nightlife Entrepreneur. You can find me on Instagram as The Nightlife Entrepreneur, and you can find all of our episodes on our website, nightlifepodcast.com. Also, you find us on YouTube, on Spotify, on iTunes, wherever you want to go. So with that said, last week we came to the conclusion that basically that social media and technology and the internet was taking over, making this business so different. But at the end, there was something missing, and that was the personal touch, and that was the offline promotion. What do I mean by offline promotion? Okay, so offline promotion is pretty much everything that you do not do while being online on the World Wide Web, right? Anything that you're not doing while being online, and that includes social media, of course. So that means that if you're on your phone, phone calls or texting is still part of offline promotion because you're not really on the web. So, I want you to keep that in touch. Offline promotion doesn't mean necessarily off the phone, but it means off the internet, pretty much. Okay. What is the main difference between being online and being offline and while you're doing promotion? The main difference is the personal touch. There's no way that online you're gonna be able to, just show whatever it is that you show when you're doing this in person. Number one, there's a certain personality that you have. There's a certain personal touch that you add to your promotion, and that is something that you will never be able to engage 100% unless you're doing that in person or on a phone call, at least a text. I mean, it's not my favorite, the text part, but it works. Now, offline online, sorry, it just loses the whole personal touch. Yes, you're supposed to be more social while you're online. That is one of the whole ideas of social media. The idea is that you're going to be social on it. But the reality is that most people are just there to post or to look at other people's posts. So since I already know that you will not be putting in your 2 cents or like Gary Vaynerchuk talks a lot about, and he understands that most people are not doing it, going to those hashtags that you should be engaging with, the top 10 hashtags that you should be engaging with, and looking at the top 9 posts on those and engaging with those 9 accounts with real, content, not just engaging in a way that you're just, blah, 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 or putting an emoji or saying great pictures, whatever. No. I know that even though you're supposed to be doing that, most people are not going to do it because it takes time. It does. And most people end up lost in other things. You end up looking at pictures that you were not thinking that you were going to be looking at, and you end up just scrolling down or sideways or whatever. So just be careful. If you are able to do that part where you are good online, bringing yourself and having conversations with people, you'll be great in that area. But do not forget about the other side, the offline world. Don't be walking around on your phone and not worrying about that person that's on your left, your right, whatever, which could have been potential customers if you would have had conversations with them. They are probably in the area where you promote. They're there next to you, so you get to decide what kind of person they are, if they're the type of person that you would like as a client. So a lot easier than on social media, where most of the stuff is fake anyway. We're really showing the best part of our lives over here. So the real world is never. There's no way to compete with that. So the only thing that actually works on online, pretty much, is paid ads, as I mentioned in the last episode. So I wanted to get in a little deeper into the whole paid ad and how it works. The reality is that Instagram, Facebook, Google, YouTube, any one of those platforms, what they want is your money. So it makes sense. They're in business, right? And they can't just make money from Russia all the time. So you need to understand how they work, and you need to understand, how much they're worth. If they are worth your time, if they are worth your money. And you need to also understand how to make your ads profitable. Okay, so one of the first things that I always mention is that you have to have a call to action, right? What is a call to action? A call to action is something very simple. A call to action is having a link to your website, having call a phone number where people can actually call, but like if they click on it and it actually makes the phone call directly to the whatever number, your number, wherever it is that you're promoting. Call to action is having somebody actually give something like an email or landing on a landing page, etc. So you got to make sure you understand that whole system. Okay, now before you do all that, there's one thing that you got to do first before you're going to do any promotion online, and that is part of the whole marketing process. And I see it as the 4 C's. The 4 C's of the marketing process are clarity, creativity, communication, and customer experience. Okay? You need to understand with clarity who it is that you are. What is your business about? This is the first step before you do any kind of promotion. As a matter of fact, offline, online, anything. You need to understand with clarity. Not only you, but every staff member in that venue, every manager, every owner, every promoter, everybody needs to know 100% what is it that we're promoting? What is it that we are? Okay? And not only that, you need to be able to give that message in less than 7 seconds. It has to be very quick. It can't be a book, a huge explanation of what you are, because then that means you have no clarity of what you are. So that is the first step. And believe it or not, a lot of people don't go through that. And a lot of people are promoting events without knowing exactly what it is they're promoting. Like, they really have no idea. So what are we, man? Are we really a restaurant? Are we a bar? Are we a nightclub? Are we a hookah lounge? Is this a Latin party? Is this really open format? So you need to understand 100% the concept, the idea, what you want to sell, or what ownership wants to sell. Therefore, management has to sell it, marketing has to sell it, and you as a promoter are part of the marketing department. Therefore, you need to understand it with clarity so that every customer understands it with the same clarity. That's the first one. Then the second one is creativity. You cannot get creative until you have clarity. There's no way that you can plan a marketing strategy or whatever without understanding and having clarity of what you are. So creativity is the second step. And we all know what creativity is, and it's very general, because a lot of people feel they're creative, and maybe they are. It's just, it really is a matter of you have ideas and you put them out there, and if they work, hey, it was you who created it. In the end, it's kind of like art, so I would never take somebody saying, oh, you're not creative. Like, I do believe that we all have a creative side in us, so you should bring that one out. Now, what I also believe is that the best way to have a creative a real good creativity, the way of doing it is as a team. It has to be teamwork. Bring as many people as possible into that process of creating what it is that how are you going to promote this? Are you guys going to do a video? Are you guys going to use pictures? Are you going to show the drinks? Are you going to show people dancing? Whatever. Are you going to go out with digital flyer? I mean, with actually printed flyers on the street? Whatever it is that you're going to do. Well, actually, I'm talking about online mostly. So online promotion. Are you going to use paid ads? Whatever it is that you're going to do, that you decide you're going to do, the creative side of things has to be a teamwork, and it should come after clarity. Then after this two comes the third C, which is communication. Communication basically means telling a story, telling everybody, what you already created. Okay, so the creative part already happened. Now it's time to tell it. So you decide, you go on the different platforms, social medias, and you tell those stories in whichever way you decided that you were going to be creative about, with clarity of what you are communicating. Correct? So clarity, creativity, communication. After you have those three, in the marketing process comes customer experience. But, and that's the final C, which actually to me goes a little more with the operations department than the marketing department. But the reality is that before customer experience, when you're in communication, there are three other C's that are the way that this whole thing of paid ads end up working. The three C's for the paid ads system, and the way and the only things that you should be spending money on are this: connect, commit, and close. Connecting, committing, and closing. What are these three things? Okay, so connecting. What is connecting? All right, you're spending money on paid ads that are basically showing people your flyer, or they're showing people a YouTube video you have. Let's say myself, I connect with you guys when I promote my YouTube videos of this podcast, and you guys get to see it. That's connection. That's where we connect. Okay, it's the first time you see me, or it might be the second, or whatever, but we're connecting. You're only getting to see me. We have no type of business yet. Okay, we just basically are getting to know each other. We're connecting. Okay, the same goes for promotion for a club. You need to connect with the people, so they need to see what you're showing. They need to see what it is that you have. Okay, all right, so that's connecting. I would actually spend about 20% of my 100% budget, 20% on connecting. Okay, you should always keep spending money on connecting for your Instagram, for people to boost your Instagram, for your YouTube if you have it, whatever platforms you're using. Make sure 20% of your budget goes into just connecting. That's the one where you won't be able to see that much feedback, but people will be seeing. So it works. The second part is commit, and you can't commit if people haven't connected. Okay, so it's not that easy to just basically show up in front of somebody's face for the first time and ask to commit to something. Okay, how do you commit in this with online paid ads? Commitment comes from asking for something in return of something else. So you promise somebody, let's say that you're gonna promise somebody a free drink. Okay, hey, so I'm gonna, they get a promotion that says you're gonna get a complimentary drink on the house if you give me your email, and I'll send you the drink to your email. Okay, that's commitment. Now you want to go a little further than that, and you want to commit a little more. There's ways. Maybe you send a first email and it says, hey, here's your drink. By the way, would you like a bottle? If you would like a complimentary bottle, all I need is your phone number, and then you text, and you send me back 5 contacts of your friends. Bring 5 people with you, whatever. You figure out a way, whatever works for you for your venue, depending on the different rules, regulations you have as a club of how many bottles you get, or how many complimentary drinks or champagnes you can give out, or how many people you need to give a complimentary drink. In the end, this is one of the most used things is, It's complimentary drinks and complimentary champagne. Everybody knows this. Actually, everybody's tired of it. But this is a new way of offering it to people that are not in your circle. So connect, commit. The way I use committing is, for example, I send out a free chapter of my book in exchange for their email, and that email they become part of the mailing list, where I end up selling all the other stuff later on. But I also give them a lot of content, a lot of free goodwill information just to help. So just make sure that if you're getting somebody onto a list and they're committing to giving you something back, like a phone number or an email, don't just leave it at, okay, so I sent you your drink and you showed up and you had your drink and the end. No, you have database. That's the most important thing in any business. Make sure that you're going to use that well later on. Okay, so connect, you use 20% of your budget. In commit, myself, I like to use 40%. 40% of the budget goes into committing. And that leaves me with another 40% left, which is the one that I use for closing. Okay, what is closing? Well, that's when actual business transactions go on. So you already made somebody commit to giving you some information. Now you have them on your list and you're building this base and all this kind of stuff. But what's next? How do you get them to close? How do you make them not just get your free stuff, but end up becoming a client? Closing them. And what is closing? Well, in my case, it could be, for example, selling my book, or it could be selling one of my courses. So it all really depends on what you're selling. When it comes to the nightclubs, to the business, closing could be something as getting a reservation for a table from somebody who has connected and committed. Then you close them by getting an RSVP for a table, and they become your client. You could maybe sell a ticket to a concert that you have in a club or an event that you have and they want to pay in advance. That's also closing. So you spend your money, most of your money on closing, then committing, and then there's always that 20% in connecting, remember? But before you connect, commit, and close, you have to make sure that you have clarity so that you can be creative, so that you can communicate, and so that the rest of your team and yourself could make it a great customer experience. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that and that you put it to use. But more than that, I hope you do not forget that the offline promotion, meaning you going out there and talking to people, touching them, being able to look in somebody's eyes and tell them, I haven't seen you in a while. Where have you been? I really want you to come to this party. I mean, I haven't seen you in a long time. How come? Where have you been? What's going on with your life? Having a real conversation in person, putting your hand on their shoulder is gonna make a huge, huge change. So don't forget, and I hope to see you guys next week. Remember to get the book on Amazon. You can find me at the Nightlife Entrepreneur on Instagram, and you can find me on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. See you guys next week.